nostalgia's a funny thing, isn't it? Now, we all have movies, TV, anything that we have a lot of nostalgia for, that even though we know something is bad, and that you would agree with a general opinion if you didn't see as a kid, if you weren't super nostalgic, you would agree that this is a shitty movie, that this is a shitty show. But then you rewatch something, but then you don't. You can't hate a thing. You still love it just because of nostalgia. Basically nostalgia. No other reason. Here's an example none of you have heard of. Every Which Way. Every Which Way was a Nickelodeon sitcom, which ran for 4 seasons, which is pretty good in terms of Nickelodeon sitcoms. But it only ran for 2 years, so I think 4 seasons was always the plan, although I could be wrong. To me, it seems like Nickelodeon promoted it to death, although never really being that popular. It even got a spin-off after. The series was probably very bad, but when I was a kid, I loved it. Most likely because, well, I loved fantasy stories. I liked fantasy elements. I even liked Chosen One stories. I still think they're at least overhated, but anyway, Every Which Way, when some of my siblings were rewatching it and I joined in because why not? And honestly, I thought that I was gonna hate the show now that I'm an adult. But honestly, I couldn't. I noticed that it was bad much more than I did when I was a kid. The characters were unlikable and badly written. The world building had more plot holes than Harry Potter, and basically it was an all around awful show. But I couldn't hate it, okay? I couldn't hate it. I still kind of loved every single second of it, because even though I kind of knew it was terrible, it was a big part of my childhood, so nothing can make me hate it ever. So obviously, why am I talking about all this? Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is my history with the movie The Lorax, the subject of today's video. The Lorax is a movie in which, well, if you've been living under a rock, it's a movie in which a weird-looking cat with a mustache comes down and, like, is a messiah, and, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but basically where they're chopping down trees. I don't know, but, like, well, without trees, getting done. It's based on a book of the same name, which I still haven't read, because I don't want that bias. I already have a bias, and technically, I don't want to hate the movie. I want to become this movie's only defender. Now, this movie is a bigger part of my childhood than any of the movies I've done on Why Does No One Remember. This is not a Why Does No One Remember, obviously. This movie is talked about to death. But, let's just tell you what I liked about the movie. I liked the story. I liked the opening. I liked the characters. I liked the comedy. I liked the songs. I liked the villain. All these things are considered absolute crap by the general public, or at least for the most part. But I just really want to say that this movie was one of my favorites as a kid, and I don't think it's going to stay the way as an adult, but I still think I'm going to have an every which way effect, as if I can't hate this movie, even if I know that it's got some general flaws. Like, no art is objectively good or bad. Let's just make this clear. So I'm not saying when I say I know it's bad, I'm saying I would hate it, I would think it's bad, if I didn't watch it so much when I was a kid, and it wasn't such a big part of my childhood. Okay. So, let's see if I get my childhood ruined. Well, a part of my childhood. A random movie doesn't define my own. One piece of media doesn't define my whole childhood, and my childhood sucked anyway. So why would so there's not much left to ruin. But so what will happen? Will I hate this? Will I hate this movie like everyone else, or will I become one of its only defenders? Or will nostalgia cloud my judgment? Let's see. So, what were the results? Was I blinded by nostalgia, or could I see what a terrible movie this is? I actually think it's okay. Yes, nostalgia might be clouding my judgment, but for real, I'm not sure it is in some specific places. Okay, so common criticisms with this movie. The Lorax. Okay, wait, some I think hold up, some I think don't. And actually a lot of the problems with the movie aren't really brought up that much, which is saying a lot considering how much the movie's brought up. One of the main criticisms I see, which I kind of get, but also think is definitely overplayed, is the Onceler. I don't know if he's inferior to the Onceler in the book. That might be it. But some people paint him as like a nice guy before his eventual turn to evil, maniacal villain, and his family just brought on all the harm. I remember that being the case too, and I remember hating the family for that. But honestly, he wasn't that much of a nice guy. He was firm in his beliefs, and I honestly, it didn't really come out of nowhere that he broke his promise, because he was obsessed with that Fneed. And when he made that promise, he was only doing it to gain the admiration of the forest animals, not because he actually cared about the trees. It was never shown he actually cared about the trees. Did he care about the nature? The forest animals, and that's why he cared about the trees? That's sort of unclear, but what I saw of that is just admiration. He wanted admiration from the forest animals. But once the Fneed got popular, He stopped caring about that. He started caring more about the business. At the beginning, it seems like he's so. At the beginning, it seems like he's just clumsy, but he really doesn't care. He really just thinks he's doing all good. Optimistic, all that. So, honestly, I don't think that the Once was a bad character in this movie. I think he has a good drive to insanity, but I actually think his redemption arc is a bit too quick. So that's like the opposite of what everyone thinks. And can you really call it an arc? It's not an arc. It's just like a last minute moment like the ones we get in our... I don't know. The point is, I think that criticism is definitely overplayed. Now, so other things, another criticism I somewhat disagree with is the main character, Ted. Now, well, I don't think he's a great character. I think people like the Onceler give him too much hate. Now, they usually just say, oh, he's only doing this for a girl. Well, I always saw it as he started doing this for Audrey, but then over time, he got more invested in trees himself and wanted to look up. I thought that was obvious considering the text of the movie, that he obviously cared about trees for more than just the girl that he's stalking. I still think that was an unnecessary addition, though. The side characters, aside from that, kind of terrible. Audrey is unnecessary, and how the hell does she know about trees? Why does she know about trees? The granny is weird and is a complete rip-off of the granny from Hoodwinked, and just is like the cool granny. Shut up. Ted's mom is so cringy and annoying, and the villain. Why did I ever like you? Why did I ever think you were a good villain? Mr. O'Hare is so damn over the top. He moves in such weird ways that that the animation on him, it's just too over the top. I wouldn't say there's no redeeming quality, because like pure evil can be a joy to watch, and it's arguably good here. And it's not the worst thing ever here, I guess, but he's just so over the top, just like everything evil for evil's sake. He has all the power in this town. He does like everything to stop Ted, like even when stuff is a stretch. It's just kind of irritating to me how he does things. I don't like him, and his henchmen don't do anything. Could have just been O'Hare the entire movie and nothing would change. Oh, also, who is this delivery guy who is the main singer of two of these songs but never has an actual line, which isn't singing? Okay, I know his name's Sai because he sings it in the meme song, but I don't know. Why is he there? Oh, and then there's these minions. Oh, I mean the forest animals. I mean the minions, basically. They're just the minions. They're basically just this movie's version of the minions. That there's no exception about it. Illumination just said, the minions worked 2 years ago. Let's put them in again in a completely different movie. Completely different. I know, I'm pretty sure there were some weird forest animals like these fish and birds. I think that they were in the book. I could be wrong with that, but I think they were in the book. But they weren't like weird who spoke in gibberish and ate marshmallows and were assistants and like... They're just unnecessary additions. In general. Other common criticisms include the songs. Now, Let It Grow is pretty bad, I guess. It's bad in which it's narrative set up rather than anything in the song. Okay, the song in general is bad too, and it's just with really simplistic lyrics, which are really just lazy, but honestly, O'Hare's verse is the best because but still, it doesn't work that well. The movie does not flesh out why so many of these people are now 4 trees. Like, they never, like, yeah, Ted gave a very short speech, but they still don't know anything, and to be honest, I think some people will be on his side, but like, no one really? It was just too kind of out of nowhere. Other songs like everybody, like Sneedville, was okay. Sneedville, I liked it. I kind of liked it, to be honest. It wasn't the best song ever, but it got its point across and served its purpose. Everybody Needs a Sneed was short and weird, and the da was annoying and stupid. I don't know why it was there. But yeah, actually, there's less songs in this movie than I remember. And then, of course, there's How Bad Can I Be, which I'll talk about later. Now, other than that, there's The Message, obviously. Now, this is affected by what I talked about later and the problems with Ted and the Onceler. Now, this is just... Now, The Message, I think, is okay. I do not think it's the best message in the world. I don't think it's came badly across. It's clearly got good intentions, and I think it comes across okay. Again, they get it so weirdly. Oh, also, family is annoying. I will admit that. And I don't think they have much of a purpose in the movie, because again, with the Onceler, he wasn't that good a guy. I can totally believe he could turn evil, although for the annoying family in that stupid scene weren't necessary. So yeah, I've addressed all the main criticisms of this movie. Now let's talk about the things I personally had a problem with, which aren't really talked about this much. First off, why is this movie called The Lorax? I know that it's the book, but honestly, this movie Honestly, Lorax isn't even the second main character in it. He's third at best. And even then, it still doesn't feel like he does that much. He's, he obviously has a big part of the plot. The thing is, I think the movie's confused about him. Like, a lot. The movie can't decide whether it wants to treat him as a serious character who is a serious chosen one who's speaking for the trees, or if he's just a funny side character and just the leader of the minion rip-off sort of thing. I prefer him much when he's serious, because, like, I hate moments with, like, he's brushing a mustache and where he sleeps next to a onceler somehow. What is the point of these scenes? Now, it's kind of strange that they made Lorax like such a serious, like, it's like Lorax should be a serious character, I think, if they're gonna make the story work, and I don't think they made it work that badly, as I said before, but honestly, I think that the Lorax is probably one of the most confusing parts about this movie, and is why I didn't talk about him in the characters. No one ever seems to bring this up that often. The worst scene in the movie is not Let It Grow. Not by a long shot. It's that stupid bed scene. The scene where they kidnap the Wadslow and, like, try and make his bed float away. Like, and down a waterfall, which they apparently didn't intend. Like, this is your forest, you should know where a fucking waterfall is! Fuck off! That was really stupid and a really unnecessary part of the movie. I don't really like a lot of the made up plot in general. The plot in the plot outside of it. It keeps distracting me by, like, it keeps cutting back to the mainlands and it doesn't really do anything. Maybe though her scenes kind of do, because it's just showing how he's showing up, but it's just distracting to keep cutting away from the actual interesting story to the boring stuff. So, after that's over with, now, so I'm much more positive on this movie than most people are, as you can see so far, but let me get even more positive. Let's talk about some stuff in this movie that I really, really like. Yeah, first, that's what, as I said, I like the opening. I like how it sets up the story and introduces it. The singing isn't that great, but overall, it's pretty fine. As I said before, I actually quite like the Once arc most of the time. I understand why people don't, but I get it. And one of the main reasons I like it is because of the big song, How Bad Can I Be? That song is fucking amazing. Anyone who doesn't, I don't understand you. I really don't. How could you hate this song? Actually, I checked, and yeah, I still remember every word of this magnificent song. This twist, it's a great villain song once you get round to it. It has a lot going on in it, and it basically gets its point across. You can really see what's happening. It really gets good. The visuals are great, and it gets a lot of... I really, really love it. I really love this musical number. I love the lyrics too. It really progresses things in the story, and it's better than just like a quick montage, because it's like we're getting the Onceler's POV of how good this is going and how much it looks. You can really believe that he really thinks he's not doing anything wrong, that he really thinks he's doing the world of good. The message itself, this is what makes the message a little strong. And let me tell you, and yes, before you say it, I kinda know. I haven't heard the original song or saw the lyrics or anything like that. That How Bad It Can I Be was possibly going to be better with like a song called Biggering. But honestly, what we got wasn't bad at all, so I don't care that much. And let me tell you another thing I liked, which so many people are going to criticize me for. A lot of people say that the movie should have ended with the Onceler giving Ted the last truffula seed, and then being vague after that, and not have like a big car chase event, which was kind of stupid. I'm talking about the ending with the Onceler. The Onceler coming down and flowering all the trees, and then the Lorax coming back. I kind of like that. I think it's an optimistic ending. I honestly don't mind that it actually has a proper ending rather than an ambiguous one. I think I wanted to see what happened next. Sorry, okay? So that was my review of the Lorax. Still one of my favourite movies ever. Even today. I like this movie a lot more than everyone else, it seems. And yeah, I don't think it's good. I'd say but I don't think it's bad either. I think it has some genuine praises. I think that a lot of its hate is too much. And again, maybe nostalgia is clouding my judgment. I'm trying to justify how bad this movie is in my head. I can understand why people hate this movie. I can get it. A lot of these reasons, like, I don't agree with them, but I understand them. But that's really just it. So, I hope that you enjoy getting a new perspective. So, what did you think of this video? Put down in the comments below what you think of it. And like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. And if you didn't, please leave a dislike and a hate comment, because we love to keep the algorithm happy. So, and follow me on social media as well. Either way, in the links below. I'll see you later.